Some thoughts about Mark chapter 6. I think it's interesting that Jesus, spoke in the synagogue, and the people were astonished. From whence hath this man these things? Hey, don't we know this guy? Don't we know his family? Who is he? How is it that he can do all these things? And they're astonished just for the fact that they know him, but for what he taught. It says, where is it? The end of verse 3, and they were offended at him. He marveled because of their unbelief. Jesus told his disciples, don't take any money when you go on your journey to preach. Don't take a script. Don't have anything even to keep track of anything. No bread. Totally trust the Lord. This is opposite of these days where preachers will badger you for money. They don't trust God. Anybody that asks for money, don't give it to them. I mean, as far as preachers. Of course, we know what it says if somebody... Look at this. This is interesting, too. I just thought of this, and I just thought of it. But be shod with sandals and not put on 2 coats. Remember, it just made me realize that Jesus said if somebody were to ask for your coat, give him your... What is it? If he asked for your... give him your coat also. I can't remember what it says. He wouldn't say if he asked for your coat, give him your coat also. But maybe it's like, okay, well look. You better hope they don't ask for your coat because you're only going to have one. Okay. Then, of course, if they don't receive you, you leave them alone. As it says in the Bible, it says, leave them be. They be blind leaders of the blind. They don't want to hear from you. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Leave. They would not preach that men should repent, cast out devils, anointed many with... Then King Herod comes along. And now this is what's kind of interesting, because everybody has their own concept. Even on YouTube, we see all the time. Everybody's got their own concept of who Christ is. Some people think that he's just here so that he can make a mystery so that Paul can sort it out, and that they can reveal the mystery to Paul. So it's a nice little convenient way of skirting around the importance of Christ. Some people, like the Muslims, think, that, as they thought here, that he's a prophet, or is one of the prophets. But Herod, like he said, it is John. He knows, no, it's not Jesus. Everybody denies Christ, thinks he's somebody that he's not. Just like world religions. Now this is kind of interesting too. I just thought of this throughout this reading here. Notice how it says, and he brought his head in a charger and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. Now, then it goes on later in the chapter here to talk about the feeding of the 5,000. And it made me think about, it's like an order here that was given. I mean, an orderly kind of way that it was done. And they brought his head in a charger, gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. Remember, I'm not sure if it's in Matthew, but it says Jesus gave it to the disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And then I thought, yeah. And you know what Jesus did, of course, with that? Increased. He increased. In the instance where he brake the bread, gave it to the disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. What did John the Baptist do here? Decreased. This is a totally opposite occurrence, of course. Evil here. Cutting off the head of a great saint of the Lord, one who was foretold by the prophets. It starts right off at the beginning of Mark, where it states in chapter 2 as spoken of by the prophets. And it is correct. Versions of the Bible, the versions, the ones that are not the King James Bible, will say Isaiah, as spoken by Isaiah. No, it's spoken by Isaiah and Micah. I believe it's Micah. Okay. No, it's in chapter 1. Sorry, chapter 1, verse 2. As it is written in the prophets, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. Then, of course, John the Baptist made that great statement, he must increase, but I must decrease, and that's exactly what happened here. Then I noticed at the end of the chapter, it says, they besought him that they might touch, if it were but the border of his garment. Then notice, it doesn't say, and Jesus touched them. It says, and as many as touched him were made whole. Draw nigh unto God, and he will draw nigh unto thee.